It's Friday afternoon. It is time to go home for the weekend. I used to have weekends. I don't anymore because I run my own business. So I'm happy for you who are all getting to go home and take the weekend off because there's no rest for the wicked here at Purgatory Ironworks. But I'm glad you guys could be here to join me for this particular live feed. Again, absolutely unscheduled. It's like I'm a stealth live feeder, right? I'm sneaking around like a ninja to put out live feeds when you least expect it. But feeling pretty good today. Got some good news for you guys. Everybody has been waiting for our tong making videos. A lot of you guys have been working on, seeing these awesome tong making videos. A couple of you guys have been to the classes. But today, my friends, as of right now, the Making Flat Jaw Tong video is now live. It is another one of our good long format instructional videos, so you guys ought to be checking it out as soon as you get through with the live feed here. The reason I'm still in apron and outfit is because I have been out there in the shop filming it. Again, this was a long one. You know, when you do these long format deals, it is a lot of work, takes a lot of time to get them edited and uploaded. So we're going to see. We're going to see just if I made any screw ups. I didn't even put this through my Patreon review. It's gone straight live. So, here's to hoping that it is absolutely right and correct. May or may not be, but we'll see. At any rate, again, thank you guys for coming by and checking everything out. And I want to do a quick live stream this evening before I sign off and have a little bit of I say I'm going to rest and relax this weekend, but the truth of the matter is we've got a lot of stuff to finish up around the house. So I'm probably going to attempt to take off from filming this weekend to get everything cleaned up out there in the yard. We're getting closer and closer. Man, like I said, the plague numbers continue to go in the right direction. Guys, keep your mask on. Do your vaccinations. We're almost there. You know, my particular dream of being able to bring people down to this awesome house and teach classes is close. We still got to get the numbers there, but mom and dad are vaccinated. I got my second shot a few days ago. So I got the countdown is on for 2 weeks till I am fully vaccinated, and I am excited to be getting life back to normal. So do what you need to do, guys. We're almost there on the end, and it cannot come fast enough. I'm not sure I'm going to know what to do when I see a woman again. So anyway, but this evening's topic is going to be about cutting steel for blacksmiths. I know we've touched upon this a lot of times before, but I thought we'd take the opportunity to go through and look at some options that are always available to you new smiths out there and kind of give you the full range of things that, what you have to deal with as you start and where you might be able to get to when you finish. So when it comes to cutting steel, there's a lot of things that make do. You guys have heard me talk about this before. There are things that get by, and then there are things that get the job done. And so you're going to find out real quickly that as a beginning smith, it's amazing, but you're going to spend a hell of a lot of time just trying to get steel cut into the proper size. Trying to get steel cut into the proper sizes. When you buy a 20-foot bar of 3/8 square and you're cutting 12-inch pieces for S-hooks, that's a problem. If you don't have a vise set up, even if you do, you're going to have a sawhorse out there because the piece is going to be so particularly long. You're going to find that cutting steel is really going to be a damned issue, right? So let's start out at the bottom. So the first option that you're going to have when you want to start cutting some steel as a blacksmith is going to be a hacksaw. And I'm going to tell you, if you try to use a hacksaw to cut any amount of actual steel, you are going to be a very, very angry person. What's going to happen is that blade's going to heat up very quickly, and that it's going to crack and it's going to bind, and you're going to cuss, you're going to bust your knuckles. But if you're just cutting a few pieces, a $10 hacksaw may be the way to go. But that's on the bottom. Now, surprisingly, a lot of people would say, well, wouldn't you include things like a chisel or a hot cut to start with? And the answer is no. A hot cut really isn't something that's a beginner tool, not for somebody who's just busting out there. Oh, somebody. All right, now I'm suspicious here. Hang on a second. I am suspicious here. Let's see what this is here. Did I even turn Super Chat on? Who was that? I didn't even see that go on there. So my alert box here has been going crazy. Nope. All right. So this damn thing, the alert box has lost its mind. So let me. Roy's not even here. This notification, I think Roy has sabotaged me. I know Roy did this. It's been making the same donation now for like 2 weeks. I got to get that fixed. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, cutting hardies. A cutting hardie is going to take a little bit of time to make, so it's usually not the first option or go-to that's going to be for your beginner. So hacksaw is going to start. If you can purchase yourself a cutting hardie, it's a great start, but the problem with a cutting hardie is you've got to have the steel hot. And for a lot of you dealing with small brake rotor forges and things like that, it's going to be a bit of an issue. Now, Lost Crow says small stock cut with a bolt cutter. You are absolutely correct. The only particular issue is that a bolt cutter is going to get you stuff that's going to be at a maximum of 1/4 inch thick, maybe 1/4 inch wide. Any of your square stocks going up to 3/8, man, you've got to have a really big set of bolt cutters to start cutting that stuff. So bolt cutters are not cheap. Good pair is going to be 40 or 50 bucks, so you're already kind of halfway in trouble. Now, the next step up on all of this is going to be, of course, an angle grinder with a zip wheel. And this is where it starts getting dangerous. So, guys, again, I know that you've heard a lot about angle grinders and things like that. And the problem with the angle grinder, and like I said, Westhold, a $10 angle grinder from Harbor Freight. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. An angle grinder, especially with a zip wheel, is something that can hurt you. And I will tell you that if you went out and bought yourself a $10 angle grinder from Harbor Freight, I would look harshly at you. And here's the reason. It's a critical tool. It is worth spending the 60 or 70 bucks on it so that you've got a good tool. The fit on those wheels are not good. And for God's sakes, and this I'm going to tell you something. If you go to Harbor Freight and you buy the grinder, that's one thing. If you buy your zip wheels from Harbor Freight, I will appear in a puff of smoke with a boat paddle and beat your ass. These things are dangerous. Whenever somebody starts talking about new blacksmiths and angle grinders, everybody's butthole should tighten up 3 notches because they're dangerous. They can hurt somebody. So when it comes to that, I will tell you, make sure and buy the good stuff. And if you're a beginner, you're damn right. Keep the guard on. The guard can stay on when you're cutting steel. Not what I use it for, but if you're a beginner, buy a quality angle grinder, buy quality wheels, okay? And every piece of PPE you can put your hands on. And guys, this is coming from the fella that did the video the other day about guards and handles. When I'm shaping and stuff and I'm doing that work, those guards and handles come off. But when I'm cutting, they are on because I know that's where the danger is. So, there you go. Yeah, do not buy Amazon crappy wheels. Go to, order them from Grainger or go to a welding store that has quality wheels. Do not play with these things, guys. Tell you what, I'm gonna do my public service duty here, and let's go over here to the video review screen. Zip wheel injury. Let's go to some images. All right, there we go, fellas. That is why you buy quality angle grinders and quality wheels. Okay, that's in his face. Okay, in his face. So when we tell you these things are damn dangerous. That's why. Okay? Let's see. What else we got here? I know we got some more. There's got to be some terrible ones in here. There's one. Ooh. All right. These are graphic. YouTube's probably going to ban me for this end of it. But, yeah. So, here's a good one. Here's an eyeball for you. Guys, when I tell you buy quality stuff when you're dealing with these, this is why. And wear your PPE. Okay? That's the deal. That is absolutely the deal. Have I made myself clear? Okay. Now, if you are going to move up from that, you really need to do so, because the next thing that you're going to move up to, and this is going to be the first tool that really does the job, okay, that really, from a professional standpoint of view, is going to cut steel the way that you need it cut, that's going to be quick and effective, okay? All right, let's go over this. Let's bring this back up. Let's go. I need this over here. Work with me here. Doing some Star Wars research. Abrasive chop saw. If I can spell it right. Don't worry about that. Boy, prices in Canada are crazy. Now again, these can be expensive, but a good chop saw is going to run you $150. Now it's Canadian. These are Canadian dollars here, so that's why someone has a VPN. But you can usually get a decent saw, porta cable or something like that for around $150. It's going to use 14-inch abrasive blade. This guy has a clamp on it. And if you start doing any type of cutting, especially when you're buying full-size stock, this is where you want to be. There's several different flavors out there. DeWalt, of course, is a good brand. There's Milwaukee, several different things of this nature. Anything that you get along these lines is going to be an excellent place. Now, not only is that blade much thicker than a zip wheel, it is also going to have that clamp on there, which is critical. You're going to find that when you have a zip wheel accident, what happens as you're cutting and you're almost through, that piece is going to actually pinch the blade, and that's when accidents happen. These chop saws have a vise. Let's see if I can open this up and get a better picture here. If you can see right here, this is actually a vise, and this is a really crappy vise, but it's a vise nonetheless. It holds the steel and it keeps it from binding as it's cut. These machines last a long time. They're very simple. And, you know, there's an argument to be made that when you buy your first forge and your blower, if you're going to be doing any amount of work, chop saw needs to follow. Now, for years, I had a Jepson chop saw, and this Jepson was an industrial tool. The man that taught me, Jay Riekert, actually bought it. He used it for 20 years. I've used it for 20 years. It's an incredible machine. Now, a couple years ago, though, I got sent a new flavor from a company known as an Evo saw. And this, I think this is my guy right here, it is a chop saw, but it does not use an abrasive blade. It actually uses a carbide blade. This thing actually turns a good bit slower than the abrasive saw. It produces very few sparks. Now, when you have that abrasive saw, it is going to produce an entire shower of sparks. You got to make sure that it's nowhere around anything flammable. The Evo saw, and these guys are absolutely more expensive, but they are an incredibly well-built product. And again, I had them send me one, so I got mine for free. And I'm trying to see exactly where this thing is. $430. These are not cheap. That's very expensive. That's going to be expensive more than the forge. But these things are awesome. The blade lasts a lot longer than your abrasive blades. The cut's cleaner. And this is the top end of where you're going to be for the actual home deal. Now, Frank, I actually thought that was the case as well. This is not technically a cold saw. A cold saw is almost all, it turns super slow, and it usually has a coolant to it, usually for aluminum. This does not technically meet the definition of a cold saw. So no, the cold saw is a specific other tool. They're very similar. I had actually used the same term interchangeably, but I got corrected by one of the guys that actually manufactures the cold saw. So it's not a cold saw. Close, but not. This does not require lubrication. It does not require a cooling stream at all. It just goes just like it is. And it does an incredible job. Incredible job. So, guys, that's going to be your basic choices for cutting steel with anything. Now, again, when you evolve and you really get into a professional shop, what the real thing that you want to have when you win the lottery is going to be an iron worker. Not butt cracks. Hang on. Let's look at a piranha. Piranha. All right. Guys, this is an iron worker. This is a hydraulic machine, and this is a several station machine. Right here in the middle is actually a shear. This guy is a 50-ton model, and I believe it can actually shear 12-inch by half-inch plate right there in the middle. And when I say shear, I mean bump, 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 and it's done. Here on the end, there's a punch, and on the other side is a nibbler, which is a rectangular blade that will just nibble through half-inch plate like it was plastic. It's pretty freaking amazing what these things can do. Of course, this new off the line is $12,000. So it's going to be even, I've always wanted one of these, but could never justify the expense. It is an industrial tool, and that is the cool thing there. So, but guys, that's going to be the range of awesome stuff for cutting as a blacksmith. And guys, and again, I'm going to stress that when you end up getting into actually doing a lot of smith work, and I don't mean just out in the garage once every 3 weeks, when you actually start producing things like hooks and hardware, especially if you're going to be selling at a local festival, you're going to quickly understand that you're going to run into an issue of you've got to be able to cut steel quickly and effectively, or you're just kind of going to be peeing in the wind. Chris, what is your opinion on the portable bandsaws? And that is an excellent question. I hear a lot of people refer to what's called in the industry a portaband, which is basically a handheld bandsaw. Portabands, well, let's see where the cost range is. Portabands are not bad, but the problem is for the money, they're still not a abrasive chop saw. Portaband, Milwaukee. Let's see what kind of price they got on them. All right, so here's the deal, guys. Your portabands, see the cheapest one I can find, $300, $390. There's the cheapest one I can find there is $240, and that is tiny. That is a baby. It can only cut 1 inch. So the cheapest one there, which wouldn't cut a wiener, well, 1 5/8 is the maximum, and you're going to be there all day. What I mean to point out here is for the price point, their chop saw is $280, and that 14-inch chop saw will cut everything that you want. These other ones will not, and they're actually more expensive. So, the portabands will work. They're going to suffer the same issues, and I'm going to tell you something. You'll eat blades, okay? A portaband, a thin blade, It's going to twist. Bandsaws are usually set into stationary items because if there's any twisting that goes on while you're cutting, the blade will catch and it'll bust. You're going to eat portaband blades, so you're paying more money for the portaband. You're going to have to buy more blades when you could have paid less money and had the proper tools. So, will it work? Yes. Will it work well? Not really. Chop saw's still going to be the way to go. Dan the Undead Man, where can I buy a large quality apron? I'm 6'6", also want a brand of visor for using an angle grinder. A full face shield from any reputable company will get you covered on the angle grinder. As far as a large quality apron, let's see. What is her name? April. Can't remember Miss April's last name. Crapola. Hold, please. I want to say, what is her name? I will work on that. I cannot remember her name, but she does custom aprons, and she's done a bunch of aprons for several different people. Now, you can always go to a place like Tandy, and you can buy what there it is right there, forgeaprons.com. She's going to be so upset that I cannot remember her name. Forgeaprons.com is where you want to be. What is Miss April's last name? I can't remember. They'll do a lot of custom ones. They use a high-grade leather. April Witzke is her name. She does a great job over there. They're good quality aprons. They cross in the back just like mine. I absolutely prefer that crosshatch. So there's where you need to go. Forgeaprons.com. And if you buy one from her, tell her that Trent Ty loves her. Westhold, I'm kind of going the opposite way with my tools. I'm trying to do an early period Anglo-Saxon Viking forge, but I'm also really not trying to make any money. Westhold, I'm going to chastise you a little bit because you shouldn't. Now, when you're doing your demonstration, absolutely make the original tools. If you're doing a historical recreation, you're going to need those tools, okay? But I'm going to tell you, if you, and I've talked about this before, if you do that, you are going to hinder your ability to learn this craft. You have every right to, but there's been 1,000 before you that said, no, I'm going to do it the old way. Somebody like me that has a lot of education experience can do an effective job with the old tools because I have knowledge and experience. You don't, okay? Learn to do it the easy way first. Use the tools that the blacksmiths developed to do it faster and better, and then work your way backwards. If you start backwards, you're going to finish backwards. Brandon Metcalf, what are your thoughts on a full-size bandsaw? An awesome idea. Jay Riekert bought a Grizzly way back in the day. Let's see, Grizzly bandsaw. And it has served faithfully for many, many years. Now, again, guys, and let me stress to you, you got to understand where the money's at, okay? Check this out. Jay bought one that was just above this one. I think it was, it was a little bit bigger than this one. This one's $359. If you're doing a lot of cutting, horizontal bandsaw is a great way to go. Now, why am I making a different case for it than the Portaband? Again, this guy actually has a vise, okay? The vise holds the work. Everything is held into position. It's a complete, you wouldn't think it, but it's a completely different ball game than using a portaband. This is a shop tool, and it's worth the money. Dan the Undead Man, thank you, you're best. No problem, man. Paul Fontanini is here. Westhold, I do medieval reenactment, so the study of how they did things is important to me. Westhold, I'm going to stress again, I was a Confederate reenactor, and if you don't think history is... All right, hang on, let me back up. Understand what I do, okay? I understand where you're coming from, but I was a Confederate reenactor. I've spanned the medieval range. I've spanned Viking age. There's not a historical time period that I have not worked in. So from one guy that grossly cares about how they did it, the guy that does live commentary on traditional craftsmen, I understand that. But listen to what I'm saying. If you start the hard way, you're going to hinder your education. Flat out. Now, you of course are free to do with it as you wish, but I'm telling you, I've watched 100 before you in the same situation, and it's a bad path to go down. Itching to try out my new hammer, waiting on the weather. Under them. Chris Murray, fair enough and thanks. Consumables are always something to consider. Yes, they are. Mark Spice, all the way from across the pond. Dan the Undead Man, is Grizzly great for a drill press? Need a new one. I'm going to tell you that, yeah, the drill press that I have in the shop is the drill press that Jay Riekert bought 30 years ago. You know, Grizzly has stuff manufactured overseas, but they've got great stuff. They really do. Ash Williams, I don't do any reenactment, should I? I think I've seen you do the proper reenactments there, Ash. Mark Spice, have powered hacksaws been mentioned yet? I was given a homemade one. I think they would be quicker to chew through steel than with my teeth. Mark, powered hacksaws are really a relic. They were never a great option to start with, thus the reason they don't exist in industry anymore. They are better than nothing, and if you've got one that works and works appropriately, certainly put it to use, but they're not a great option. Redmond, people need to realize they just need to spend money on tools. Doing a craft costs money. Buy the tools and you will appreciate it. That is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Guys, and this is, you know, when I'm on Blacksmithing for Beginners, and I want you guys to understand something, right? I give a damn about your education, your historical education in blacksmithing. That's one thing I've never understood, that people will come under the videos and they will act as if, you know, I don't understand their desire for historical education. Look what the hell I do for a living. Who are you talking to, right? Here's the thing, though. I've been where you are. I've been there and done it. And with all the experience behind me, just like Redmond said, you know, there are certain things you're going to need to do. Whenever I see somebody post on Blacksmithing for Beginners, hey, I don't want to spend a lot of money. If I could drop a steel door on their toes, that would actually be it. You know, the evil guy in the chair that has like the dump button to the Rancor pit? That's exactly what I'd be doing. Meh, see you. Over. Game over. Nobody wants to spend a lot of money on anything. There's never been anybody that's gone into any craft or any situation said, you know what, I'd like to piss all my money away on this craft, okay? Nobody ever said that. So why everybody comes in and poor mouths it, and that's it, they're poor mouthing, I don't have a lot of money. Well, welcome to the club. And I try not to be angry or upset about that, but it gets old. Yes, no, you know, we understand nobody has a lot of money. But that's like, and again, trying not to be mean, poop in one hand and hope in the other one. You know, if you want to do blacksmithing, you're either going to have a lot of knowledge and some resources, or if you don't have any of those, you're going to have money. That's how it works. There is no way getting away. There's no way getting around it. Bryson, sorry I'm late to the party. Thought this was happening earlier today. Not only you, but everybody else as well. I will fully admit I've been trying to keep a schedule, and it has sucked. It just has not worked. All right. Guys, well, like I said, I wanted to jump in and do a quick one this evening. It is Friday. I'm going to go fry a piece of steak, cook a piece of steak, get me a little bit of something to munch this evening. But again, guys, the latest video is up. It is making flat jaw tongs. Like I said, I know you guys have been wanting to see that, so it's up now. And believe me, hey, guys, by the way, and this is a great segue here, remember, this is now the full-time job. If you are getting something good out of these live streams, please visit the link in the description. I have a book on TrentonTide.com. Make a stream donation, buy a book, better yet, become a Patreon. This is what we're doing now. If you're getting something out of it, pitch in. And the video that's just coming up about flat jaw tongs, there's a lot of people that got into the classes that helped me refine that video before you ever get it. So understand you are the recipient of their hard-earned money. If you get something out, put something in. I know. Life is unfair. Life is unfair. Like I said, if I would, it's almost like if I was better at scheduling things, everybody could be here to when the stream started. But unfortunately, I suck on that end of it. Anyway, guys, y'all be good. Thank y'all for being here. Good to talk with you. And we got more content coming out, hopefully starting next week. Be safe out there. See you.